And good morning and welcome. Boles.tv. David Boles live. Yes, I am live this morning. 9 o'clock, East Coast. Nice to be with you. Beautiful, bright, sunny day here. I hope you're having a good evening or a good afternoon. Or even a good morning if you're somewhere feeling fine and happy. Now, an interesting thing about streaming is you never know what you're going to get until you get it. I have on this lovely blue shirt, which I like quite a lot. It's a little hot, but... And this little logo here is sort of fancy, shiny thread, which I see is kind of tearing a little bit, as we say in the biz. Yeah, you can see the fabric is the Moyer effect. It's a little distracting. But the most interesting thing is this. In real life, this is a very light, lovely pink. And so is this. And so is this, and so is this. But here on stream, it looks white. Which is okay, because that's kind of, I guess, what you're supposed to do in television. In broadcasting and live streaming is white tears. This is white tears. Hands, very bright. So I guess if you have a sort of a light pink, it looks white on television, even though in real life it's a very light and lovely pink. This little stripe here is also the same thing, light pink. And this right here, you see, right, this, and this, whoops, alongside this, those are wrinkles. We're high budget, but we don't have enough budget for a costume designer. So you find what you can, and you put on what you wear, and you put on a show. And here we are. And this outfit's a little hot, I admit. I don't have the windows open today because yesterday it got very dry in here. And put me into several coughing fits. But enough about me. The wonderful and talented Jana Marie sent us this yesterday that we're sharing with you today. And you can notice you can't really see any of the people's faces, so if any of this gets on Twitter, we're not violating their public policy of revealing people who do not want to be revealed. This is the PATH station at the World Trade Center. It used to be called One World Trade. Nobody ever called it that, so they just said, oh, all right. We don't have twin towers, we'll just call it the World Trade Center. And then there are other buildings around it, three, as you can see. 3 Trade Center, 4 Trade Center, One World. I guess they're still calling it One World in some ways, but nobody calls it One World Trade Center anymore. I guess that's the address if you're sending something via the post office. And this is inside the Jonah Whale, is what we call it. Officially named the Oculus. It's a great big building that looks like it's encased in whale bones. I don't know why you'd want to be Jonah in the belly of the whale when you're trying to find your train. But I guess it's a design aesthetic, a choice was made. I'm not sure if it's successful or not. But it's very bright and very white. And here's the up close of the Christmas display at One World Trade. And you can walk through this little winter wonderland. It's very lovely. Everything is very white. And maybe it makes you a little happy. You can see the light in the upper left corner of this image. Those are windows, so that's the color of the night sky, which is a little purple. And we like that too. So what else is going on in our world? I'm trying to figure this out. Our next image. Remember we talked about the Beatles yesterday, and Stella McCartney and her new line of Beatles wear. Interestingly timed to the release of the Beatles documentary, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. And we discovered that most of her clothes are $1,000. If you want a t-shirt, $1,000. You want some pants, sweatpants, $1,000. You want a top to go with the sweatpants, another $1,000. More like $1,500. If you want a jogging outfit, $3,000 for the whole thing. And I guess people are paying the money, they're paying the price, because Stella McCartney's clothes are very expensive. So yesterday we got this email. Hey! Stella McCartney has a pop-up shop now in New York City where you can go visit and look at all the BO stuff. And you can buy your clothes right there in person, and you can pose with the designs of the psychedelia. And I admit it's quite lovely looking. I love the colors, love the design. I don't know if they want you to buy or not. Can you just go in there, browse, look around without buying? I don't know. People do it in New York City, but you're not really supposed to. Here's more of the Stella McCartney Beatles pop-up shop. Little drum set. I guess it's some kind of interactive thing you walk through, 3D, take a picture with the BOs. I don't know what's going on with that, but it looks interesting. Lots of light. The design is quite nice. Here's an up close from the Beatles pop-up shop. I think this is the woven robe, the Beatles robe, that I believe was $1,700. Along with a tote, which I think was $350, maybe? You can't be poor and be a Beatles fan. More from the pop-up shop. So if you're in New York City, go to Stella. Take a look, say hello. Have fun with the Beatles pop-up shop. Now, as the year ends, there's a new sort of thing going on where I find it kind of bizarre and maybe just a little bit ridiculous. In that all these companies you're with, the streaming companies, the hosting companies, the podcasting companies, they all give you a year-round roundup of who you are and how you wasted your life all year. And they're quantifying it with interesting whirligigs and doozy dads to show you how they process your data that they've been keeping on you all year. And it can be a little freaky when you get these reports. Hey, here's all the songs you listened to last year. Oh no. You're really remembering that? Here's what you did online. Here's what you published. Here's how many people found you. And sometimes it's depressing, and sometimes it's lovely, and oftentimes it can be surprising. Well, yesterday I got my first report from Spotify concerning my Human Meme podcast. HumanMeme.com. The Human Meme podcast. Right. And they're giving me the reports of how my podcast performed on Spotify. Now, not a lot of people know that Spotify has podcasts. And they haven't always had podcasts. I've been doing my podcast for about 5 years, and it's been on Apple all those years, and on Libsyn, which is where we record and distribute our podcast. But watching this report from Spotify appears to say, oh my gosh, since February of this year, you've done this and that and this and that. Isn't that interesting? Good for you, young fellow. Ah. And it's a little depressing because I've been casting longer and deeper than just February. And February isn't even the entire year in review. So I'm going to show you this report from Spotify. Just so you can get a taste of what it's like to try to exist in an interesting world. Now, this is Stella, but I'm going to go to Spotify, and I might have to refresh this page because it gets a little wacky with how things all come down. And this is tied to Anchor, and this also appears to be my Boles blogs. Something. I don't really understand what this means. Sometimes I take my Boles blogs article and have Anchor then automatically translate it into speech, and I put that. So I have a feeling that's what this is about. This is not about Human Meme, because that's not the Human Meme logo. That's the Boles blogs logo. David Boles blogs, comma. Welcome to your 2021 Wrapped. So this was originally from Anchor. And they distribute my Boles blogs. I don't think it's a podcast. They distribute the electronic reading of my articles. And distribute them. And I guess one of the distribution places is Spotify. So this is not Human Meme. So, okay, let's go. Oh, look at this. See, you move your mouse and everything moves on screen. Okay, so let's go. Boom. First things first. You had a lot of firsts this year. I don't know. A little bit condescending because I've been podcasting for a very long time. Next page. Boles blogs. It was the first time you put out an episode. The Us of Us. Aristotelian something, released on February 22nd, 2021. Okay, that must be... I guess that's a blog article. I don't know. It's got to feel good. Okay. I feel like they think they're talking to a child with all these googly things. Your show made some new friends. Oh my. In new places. You got your first streams in 2 new countries. Those places loved you the most. Brazil and the United States. Okay. I find the terminology just a little bit weird, but okay. We're not sure what they play in outer space, but here's how your fans around the globe listen to you. "58% of your fans listen to you between 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. Now, is that my time or their time? Is that Brazil time or my time? I don't know. Making it the most popular time. Is it California time? I don't know. The perfect way to unwind from a long day." Now, that is sort of the most interesting part of this whole presentation. That people are listening from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. However, I thought they were talking about my Human Meme podcast and not my Boles Blogs podcast, which is not really a podcast. It's just a reconstruction of a printed article into AI, artificial intelligence, speech translations. So now that I know what it is Boles Blogs, okay, 5 to 11 p.m., which sort of goes against everything I do because I'm usually not awake at those times. I'm winding down and getting ready for the next day. I do things in the morning, which is probably bad news for me because that's not when people are listening. You released 120 minutes of content across 26 episodes. Please remember to drink water. Now, I don't know why that's there. Are they trying to be funny? It seems like the little taglines are always just a little bit condescending. They think I need love and they think I need water. Now, 120 minutes of content is not a lot. 26 episodes, slightly confused by it all. I'll be honest with you. Thank you for sharing your 2021 with us. Same time next year? Now, what's interesting about that, same time next year... Oh, here we go. Share this moment, say hello to your fans and friends. Meh. They'd love that. 26 episodes, 3 countries. They didn't tell us what the 3rd country was, though. Oh, we get to pick a color. I didn't pick a color. I don't know what that means. Oh, I see. Okay, we can pick a color. Pick a color, any color. Not a card, just a color. I guess we like blue. We're not going to share this, though. Now, they said, see you same time next year? Okay. What does that mean? Well, let's find out. Same time next year. Same Time Next Year is a 1978 romantic comedy drama directed by Robert Mulligan, the screenplay by Bernard Slade, who was very successful, based on his 1975 play of the same title. The film stars Alan Alda and Ellen Burstyn. Bernard Slade created The Partridge Family, among many other wonderful shows. He is a massive, massive, massive talent. Now, this is how we get distracted in the world. Bernard Slade, Same Time Next Year, tribute, romantic comedy. Television, My Living Doll, Bewitched. On a Rooftop, The Flying Nun, The Courtship of Eddie's Father, The Partridge Family, Bridget Loves Bernie. I mean, come on. That's a massive career. One of those shows is a massive career. He had 10 of them. Theater, Same Time Next Year, tribute, romantic comedy. So, Same Time Next Year, what is the plot synopsis of this? Well, in 1951, at an inn on the Minnesota country coast, 27-year-old housewife meets George, 27-year-old accountant from Jersey, at dinner. They have a sexual tryst, and despite the fact that both are happily married with 6 children between them, they begin to meet every year at the same time for one night together. So that's what Same Time Next Year colloquially means in American culture. So when Spotify says, hey, we'll see you same time next year, Boles Blocks, hey, we get together. We have a sexual tryst, because that's what we do. Happily married, 6 children between them, are going to meet every year at the same hotel for one night together. So, sometimes you have to know history, sometimes you have to know the culture that is binding everyone together, and not use a phrase like, see you same time next year. Because it means something that you don't want it to mean. We hope you don't want it to mean that. So these are the tumultuous times in which we live, where Spotify is telling you how to behave, and you don't want to know anything about it. Let's go to something more relaxing. Here's a picture of the lovely Oculus once again. And now to take a different little attack here. Talk about the HPV vaccine very briefly. HPV means human papillomavirus vaccine. Now, I'm old, so I don't have the HPV vaccine, but if I were young, or if I had young children who were the appropriate age for the vaccine, absolutely would get the vaccine, because it's important to protect you sexually. Women and girls aged 15 to 24 years have decreased cervical cancer incidence and mortality after the introduction of the human papillomavirus vaccine, according to a research letter published on November 29, which was very recent. And it's interesting that this vaccine saves lives and helps young people survive and feel good. And there's not a lot of consternation about the HPV vaccine like there is about the COVID vaccine. One vaccine is mandated, one vaccine is not mandated. But the end effect is sort of the same. It's saving lives. That's what vaccines do. And the St. Louis School of Medicine obtained national age reduction cervical cancer incidence and mortality from January 2001, 2017 for women and girls aged 15 to 39 years old. Quasi-experimental analyses were conducted comparing percentage changes in incidence and mortality in those years. And researchers found that for the groups aged 15 to 24 and on, cervical cancer incident rates were decreased in cervical cancer incidence and mortality. They were greater among those aged 15 to 24 compared with those aged 25 to 39 to 30. So the reason I'm bringing this up about HPV is just that we have another vaccine that is among us, and it's not a flu shot, it's not the coronavirus. It is just simply something that can protect young people who are sexually active from getting a disease and dying. And isn't that sort of the purpose of what we want to do with young people? Is keep them healthy and alive and feeling good and feeling strong. Well, some people disagree with that. And now I see we're almost going to go into a break. So before I get into the next step of that conversation, from vaccines, from COVID, from HPV, and into the idea of skin cancer and how it affects us, we're going to take a very brief break and come back in a moment. And we are back for break. Thank you for being here on Boles.tv. We used to be Boles Books. On Twitch was our username, and then we got the bright idea, well, why don't we have our username match our domain name? And that would be Boles TV. So we are now Boles TV, no dot, on Twitch TV. But if you don't want to have to remember that, then just type in BOLES.TV and you will be brought right here to our live stream. And that reminds me to make a note about Boles TV. One moment, please, as I make myself a note. We're trying to figure out how to get email set up for Boles TV, and there are lots of different directions, and we might be doing a little test with Apple on that front, but we'll see. We'll know more about that. But if it happens, I'll let you know how it goes and what's coming next. So we were talking about HPV and vaccines briefly, and that leads us into our next heavy topic of discussion, which is not heavy, but it's important and fascinating because this just came out recently, about the potential of using artificial intelligence to improve skin cancer diagnoses in Hawaii's multi-ethnic population. Now, this is really fascinating stuff. And this is the technical abstract, so it's written for scientists, but we're going to slog through it together, just part of it. Skin cancer remains the most commonly diagnosed cancer in the USA, with more than 1 million new cases each year. And I, in a matter of transparency, have had 5 cases of skin cancer on my face and my neck. And they've all been taken care of. They were all burned away. Very happy about it. Very successful treatments. Sort of painful. The smell of your own burning flesh is something you will not easily forget. So melanomas account for about 1% of all skin cancers and most skin cancer deaths. Multi-ethnic individuals, which means people from different cultures, different skin colors, different skin types, multi-ethnic individuals whose skin is pigmented, has color, underestimate their risk for skin cancers and melanomas and may delay seeking a diagnosis. The use of artificial intelligence may help improve the diagnostic precision of dermatologists, physicians to identify malignant lesions. Now, what all that means is this. Is that if you have light-colored skin, like me, if I touch my skin like this, it becomes red. And if I scratch myself, it becomes redder. And if I scratch myself a little harder, then maybe it's going to bleed. Maybe it'll leave a bruise. Oh, look at that. Oh, the white man has a bruise. Well, if you have darker colored skin and you do the same thing, touching, scratching, you may not see it because the color of the skin hides the damage that was done. And that's what this article's talking about. And it's not racist to talk that way. It's not cultural differences to talk that way. It's just a scientific fact that people who have darker skin may not be as susceptible to the sun, but if they are susceptible to skin cancer or melanoma, that the color of their skin can hide the changes in color that you normally see on lighter colored skin. That's just the fact of it. And my dermatologist, who took care of my 5 skin cancers, told me very nonplusedly, and he's very old, he's a 70-year-old old white man, he said, with your kind of skin cancers, if you were black, you would not have these problems. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, the kind of skin cancers that you have do not usually happen with dark-skinned people because of the protection in their skin from the sun. And I said, so it's not like they don't get the skin cancer, it's just that the skin cancer doesn't start because their skin is a darker color? And he said, that's what I'm saying. So to me, that was interesting. I don't know if that is considered racist or factual or scientific. I don't know. I'm just sharing with you what I was told. But this article seems to confirm that there is an issue with darker colored people with skin colors that are varieties of shades and darknesses and tones, with being able to successfully identify with the naked eye skin trouble, skin cancer. So they're turning to technology to help them, which I think is fabulous. And now this gets just a little technical, so I'm going to try to read some of it without reading some of it, but you'll get the idea. And you can look up the title of this article, Potential of Using Artificial Intelligence to Improve Skin Cancer Diagnosis in Hawaii's Multi-Ethnic Population, if you want more information. To validate our artificial intelligence efficiency in distinguishing between images, we utilized 50 images obtained from our International Skin Imaging Collaboration dataset and pathologically confirmed lesions. We compared the ability of our artificial intelligence to visually diagnose these 50 skin cancer lesions with a panel of 3 dermatologists. The artificial intelligence model better differentiated between melanoma versus non-melanoma with an area under the curve of mama. So that's interesting, that the artificial intelligence beat the eyes of 3 human beings. Very important. The 3-panel member dermatologist correctly diagnosed a similar number of images as artificial intelligence program. However, the combined result of the dermatologist panel with the artificial intelligence assessments correctly identified 100% of the images from the test data set. So, doctors, dermatologists, experienced people using technology, artificial intelligence to see what they cannot see gives them a 100% result, which is fantastic. Because it means whatever skin color you are, these doctors are going to figure out if you have skin cancer. Our artificial intelligence platform was able to utilize visual images to discriminate melanoma, the bad stuff, from non-melanoma, using de-identified images. The combined results of the artificial intelligence with those of the dermatologists support the use of artificial intelligence as an efficient lesion assessment strategy to reduce time and expense in diagnoses, to reduce delays in treatment. Well, that's fabulous. And what happens is you go to the doctor, skin doctor, dermatologist, and you have something on your skin you don't like, or maybe you don't even know it's there, and the doctor misses it. And then you're in trouble because when it presents itself later, it might be too late. I had a hole in my neck that my beautiful wife Jana saw. And she said, "You have a hole in your neck." And I said, "What do you mean?" So I went to the doctor and he said, "You have a hole in your neck and it's cancer." And it had been there for 2 or 3 years. I just thought it was some kind of itchy skin or eczema or something. I don't even know what eczema is, but I decided that's what it was. And then when I didn't know if it was eczema, I said, well, it must be psoriasis. Well, I didn't know what psoriasis was either. And it turned out it wasn't eczema or psoriasis. It was skin cancer. So he burned it off. He said, there's not going to be a problem. I've taken care of it. But here's the catch, is if the problem isn't diagnosed or identified and then tested, well, then you're in big trouble. Because it's not being tested. You don't know. And not to make it go around and finish the circle like we did yesterday, we're finishing this circle in this way, that the reason you want to test everyone in the world, not just America, to see if they have COVID-19 or one of the many variants, and not just the sick people, but the healthy people as well, they call them asymptomatic people, is because asymptomatic people, even though they're not affected by the virus, can in fact spread the virus. So that's why, circling back the other way, with skin cancer, you want to test if there's a suspicious lesion. to see if it's cancerous or not. But if your eye, and through any racial prejudice, or because you can't see what's really going on with darker colored skin, because you don't have experience with it, and you don't know what to look for or what kind of change is happening, and you don't biopsy it because you don't see it and you're not aware it's there, then big trouble happens. But with this artificial intelligence, you don't have to rely on any prejudices or preconceived notions. You can scan an area. I think you look fine, but my eyes are old. I have dermatologist eyes. I need help from artificial intelligence to see if that thing that you feel or that hurts you that I think looks fine to me, but what do I know? I'm just a doctor. Let me get some help from artificial intelligence. And then the artificial intelligence looks at it and says, maybe you should do a biopsy. This doesn't look good to me. And that's a wonderful thing. And doctors tend to like and accept help from technology. They accept the scientific process. And that's a very good thing. Because not all dermatologists are the same as an artificial intelligence scanner. So that's the important part of it. If a doctor sees something wrong with you and brushes it off or says, I think it's fine, you as a patient need to say, well, it hurts, it doesn't look right, it's changed. I used to have a thing on my eye, right on my eyelid. It was a little, not even a bump, it was just a flat surface thing. And then in the last 3 months, when this was happening, it had changed to a very bumpy surface. Now, it's very tiny, the size of a pinhead. When I take off my contacts every day and I look at myself in the mirror to work on my beautiful face, I would always check that thing on my eyelid. And it had changed. So I went to the dermatologist. The next time I was there, I said, hey, this thing on my eyelid has changed from flat to bumpy. And his face was like, And he looked at it and said, well, I could take it off, I guess, or I could leave it, or... Well, that's where you as a patient need to say, well, I've had 4 skin cancers, so maybe we should go ahead and biopsy it. And that was a big process. You got to stick a needle in your eyelid and put stuff in there so it numbs up, and then he leaves and goes burns things off of other people. You can hear burning in the other room. You can smell it. Then he comes back in. And for about 5 minutes, he's cutting away a very small part of your eyelid to get rid of whatever's there. So it was biopsied, came back, but he took care of it, so it was not an issue. Number 5. And it's interesting, on my eyelid, of course, he did not burn me. He just numbed me and then cut it off, scraped it off, which was a lot harder than I thought it would be. A lot of pressure on my eye, and he grunted several times because I guess eyelid skin is tougher than you think. And he said, well, you might have a black eye for the next couple of days. I said, I don't care. Whatever's on me, cut it off, leave a scar. I don't want it on my body. And I was very fortunate. I just had a little scratch on my eyelid. No bruising on the eyelid, no bruising on the eye, nothing. It was fabulous. So don't be scared to let a doctor cut on you or burn you or scan you with artificial intelligence. It's all for your own benefit. And you know your body better than anybody else. So if there's something that's changed, something you've noticed that you don't like, say something. Now, I do have little tiny gray patches on my back and on my arms that I think are very ugly. And he says, look, those are old man marks. I said, but I'm not that old. He said, I know. He said, you have your grandfather's skin. I said, how do you know my grandfather? He said, I'm just talking genetically. That's your grandfather's skin that's on your back, not your skin. I said, okay, well, what do I do with it? He said, nothing. Everything's fine. I can take it off if you want me to, but that, I guarantee you, is fine. So sometimes you have to listen to your doctor and save a little bit of pain. So what do you do if you're trying to avoid this skin cancer stuff? Well, here are 4 quick little hints that I'll share with you today. avoid the sun during peak hours. Now that's very interesting, and you know if you're a swimmer to be aware of this, but a lot of kids go swimming during these times because they want to get the best tan. Do you want the best tan or do you want the best skin cancer? It's up to you. That means 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. wherever you are in the world. Doesn't mean you should never go outside during the middle of the day, but make sure you're protected when you do venture outdoors. Chris Wallace, you know him from Fox News? Mike Wallace's son, if you know Mike Wallace from 60 Minutes. He recently revealed he had a melanoma. And he didn't say where or why or how it was taken care of, but he said it was cancer. And he said, the only advice I have to you, people who are listening to me, speaking to you right now, is to slather yourself with SPF. Protect yourself. And you have to do it early because these skin cancers present 30 to 40 years later. So if you're dumb and young and in your youth and trying to get a nice tan so you can impress all the people from the pool that you're beautiful and darker looking, the damage comes much later in your life when you're not ready to pay for it. Number 2, cover your skin and eyes. Get a wide brim hat and sunglasses. It'll protect your face, top of your head, your ears, and the delicate skin around your eyes, your eyelids. Affirming Wallace's advice, Chris Wallace's advice, wear SPF 30 or higher. Plenty of facial moisturizers have SPF built into them and reapply often. That's true. When you go out, you sweat, and you sweat off your SPF. 4, get an annual skin check. You can check your own skin for anything that looks out of the ordinary, but you should still get a yearly check to make sure you didn't miss anything. If you do happen to notice anything out of the ordinary between checks, schedule an appointment, talk to your doctor or dermatologist ASAP. It is always worth it to make sure. Absolutely right. Someone tells you, hey, you got a hole in your neck. Listen to them. Because my hole in my neck was right here. So I could never, ever really see it very well. I would turn my neck, I would try to look in the mirror, I'd take a mirror and a mirror. iPhone, take a picture. You really can't see it. And my wife only noticed it because it was a very bright day. We were outside, hot shining sun on us. And she usually walks on one side of me and I'm on the other. And for some reason we had switched sides that day. Skin cancer. Now what's really interesting about skin cancer is when they find them. Doctors today, I guess, who are young and perhaps more nimble than my 78-year-old doctor, prefer, it seems, not to burn off your skin cancer. They prefer to cut it out, which I wholeheartedly support. It's called Mohs surgery. That is a microscopically controlled surgery where thin layers of skin cancer tissue are removed until the surgeon reaches clear tissue. And what does that mean? That means tissue that doesn't have cancer in it. You're able to remove a very conservative margin around the cancer. That means the cancer's here and the margin is on the outside. And it depends what kind of cancer you have on how big your margin is. Sometimes the margin is very thin, sometimes it needs to be bigger. Like with my skin cancer, I went in, had it burned off, went back 2 weeks later. He said, meh, burned a little more, made the margin a little larger. Went back 2 weeks later, he looked at it, meh, more scraping, more burning. That was the one on my neck. That was a tough one to get rid of. Kept increasing the margin, which is fine with me. Just do the whole thing. I would have preferred just to have it all cut out right at the very beginning, so I wouldn't have to keep going back and get burned. But that's not what my doctor does. So you're able to remove a very conservative margin around the cancer and study it in essentially real time. If, when the surgeon examines the tissue under a microscope, cancer is found, the surgeon goes back and removes some more tissue. So what they're doing is, instead of like burning a little thing here, they're just numbing it, cutting it out, sewing it back together with a stitch. And you won't see a scar, really. Usually. The idea is that by making the tiniest cuts and evaluating them microscopically, the surgeon knows for certain that all the cancer is out when the last piece of tissue proves to be clear. It's often done as an outpatient procedure with local anesthetic. So, that can be an important question that you can ask your dermatologist if you find something on your skin. If it's cancer, are you going to burn it off me, or are you going to cut it out of me with a Mohs surgery? My humble advice to you is to go with the professional who can do the Mohs surgery. It is much more efficient. You will not suffer as long. You will not have to recover from a burn. Not that I'm complaining. I'm very happy with my burns and my cancer-free skin so far. And this conversation leads us into the tragedy and the illness and the death of singer Bob Marley. Really sad that in July of 1977, Bob Marley was diagnosed with a type of malignant melanoma under a toenail. Contrary to urban legend, this lesion was not primarily caused by an injury during a football match this year, but was instead a symptom of an already existing cancer. Now, you think about artificial intelligence, and you think about skin color, and you begin to wonder, if Bob Marley could have been saved with an earlier intervention if we had artificial intelligence back then in 1977. Bob Marley had to see 2 doctors before a biopsy was made, which confirmed acral lentiginous melanoma. Ooh, that's a mouthful. Unlike other melanomas usually on skin exposed to the sun, acral lentiginous melanoma occurs in places that are easy to miss, such as the soles of the feet or under toenails. Although it is the most common melanoma in people with dark skin, here we go. You know why Hawaii is using artificial intelligence? Because it's hard to see with the naked eye what's going on. Although it's the most common melanoma in people with dark skin, it is not widely recognized and was not mentioned in the most popular medical textbook of the time. Well, Bob Marley rejected his doctor's advice to have his toe amputated, which would have hindered his performing career, citing his religious beliefs, and instead, the nail and the nail bed were removed and a skin graft was taken from his thigh to cover the area. Despite his illness, he continued to tour and was in the process of scheduling a 1980 world tour. Marley's health deteriorated as his cancer spread throughout his body. The rest of his tour was canceled, and he sought treatment at a clinic, died in May of '81 at the age of 36 due to the spread of melanoma to his lungs and brain. His final words to his son Ziggy were, "Money cannot buy life." What is acral lentiginous melanoma? It's an aggressive type of skin cancer that is not caused by sunlight. Melanoma is a group of serious skin cancers that arise from pigment cells. Acral lentiginous melanoma is a kind of lentiginous skin melanoma. It's the most common subtype in people with darker skin and is rare in people with lighter skin types. So please, if a doctor says, well, you have dark skin, so the sun doesn't affect you, please be wary. It is not caused by exposure to sunlight or UV radiation. And wearing sunscreen does not protect against that kind of melanoma that killed Bob Marley. Acral lentiginous melanoma is commonly found in the palms, the soles under the nails, and in your mouth. It occurs on non-hair-bearing surfaces of the body, which have not necessarily been exposed to sunlight. It is also found in mucous membranes in your mouth. The absolute incidence of ALM is the same for people of all skin colors and has not changed significantly for decades. However, because rates of other melanomas are low in non-white populations, ALM is the most common form of melanoma diagnosed among Asian and sub-Saharan African ethnic groups. The average age of diagnosis is between 60 and 70 years. Bob Marley was dead at 36. So please be careful. Look at yourself. Don't be ashamed of your body. If you find something that doesn't look right, it probably isn't right, and you should do something about it. And I'm going to show you something. I'm going to draw something, because I'm in a lot of dermatology groups, and I've seen people post pictures of their toes and their toenails and their fingernails. And sometimes this is a problem and sometimes it's not. But if you see that it's a problem, if you see this is going on in your hand or your toenail, go to a dermatologist. Not a regular doctor. Go to a dermatologist and say, look at this. What is this? I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm not saying this is what killed Bob Marley, but you can see this is I don't want to use my middle finger. I'll use my index finger, okay? You can see there's nothing on the nail, so I'm going to draw a line on my nail. Okay, I'm drawing a line on my nail just to show you what this can look like and that you should be concerned. Okay, if you see somebody or if you have something that looks like this on your nail, and it's not in your nail, it's under your nail, but because it's in the nail bed, what's causing this, it discolors your nail, your fingernail, and runs the length of your fingernail. And that can be very serious. Sometimes it is cancer. And for what you read about Bob Marley is he had something like this where they wanted to take his toe, but he wouldn't go for the toe. So they took out his nail and his nail bed. So if you or a friend have something like that on your toe or your fingernail that is growing, that's a sign that something is wrong and that something is up with your health. And I please ask you to get checked. And if you have to lose your nail bed or your fingernail to get that cut out because you can't see it, it's inside of your nail bed, and the evidence that something is wrong is that your nail itself is colored. You can see the color as it grows out. It's a problem you need to take care of. And I beg you not to be shy, not to ignore it, but to get the help that you need. Because these things happen very quickly. And if you have to lose a little bit, listen, they have to cut off the tip of your finger to stop something like that from becoming cancerous, killing the rest of you, from becoming a melanoma in your finger and going into your lungs, that's okay. You can lose a toe, you can lose a finger, and not lose your life. And with that, we're going to take a very small break. I thank you for being here today. We're having a wonderful, serious discussion. More in a moment. back from break. Thank you so much for being here. Boles.tv. I'm David Boles. So wonderful to have you here with us today. Lots of interesting, heavy conversation about health and art and life and surviving. Now, if you happen to have something like this on one of your toenails or fingernails, and you don't have any money, you don't have any resources, you don't know what to do, just go to a dermatologist's office, show them your nail, and say, look, I don't have health insurance. I don't have any money. Is there anything you can do to help me? And I pretty much can guarantee you that doctor's office will find a way to help you. Put you on a payment plan, make you pay a little something. You got to get it checked out. You can't just let it sit there and worry and hope that it will just go away, because it's not going to go away. It's going to be there reminding you every single day that something is wrong. So we've had a heavy stream so far, and now you know what time it is. It's been a long time, but not long enough for some people. It's time to play not Bobby Fischer chess. With your friend and mine, Ringo Starr. No. David Boles. We haven't played in a while because we've been in hiding. Our game has not been up to snuff. Whoops. The chair is making noise. Our game has not been up to snuff, but we are not using snuff, but we are getting better. Now, some may not believe us, and every time we get on stream, we say, oh, we're doing so much better, and then we fail. So we have to work on getting the online version of our lovely chess chat to mirror the work that we are doing together offline. And so here we are in our Chessable course, which always gives us fits because it has a time limit. Now, when we do the daily chess puzzle on chess.com, that's much better because we can take as long as we want to try to figure out what in the world is going on. So I am now going to go into this. Now, I have 30 seconds, I think, or maybe it's a minute, to try to figure out what move to make when we do these chessable puzzles. And I am often wrong, which is why I am not Bobby Fischer. I do slightly better sometimes on the chess.com puzzles. Enough talking, now doing. I have to make 4 moves, which always scares me because that's a lot of moves for me to make. And I'm white to play. 4 moves, white to play. 4 moves with white playing. Okay, so what do I see? 4 moves, white to play. I've got a rook in an interesting position. I have pawns that look fantastic. This is white to move, right? Okay, white to play. Okay, so I really would love to make this pawn go here and become a queen. But this queen is targeting my other pawn, which slightly scares me. But I don't think I want to move. I think I need to make a hard move and try to promote. I'm going to try to promote. We'll see what happens. I'm running out of time. Click my promotion type queen, a rook, a bishop, a knight. It's always interesting. Oh, I didn't click the right one. Well, the move is wrong anyway. You don't move the pawn, you move the rook. And now they're going to make me do it again to prove their point that I didn't do it right. Now, I'm not exactly sure why I want to move my rook there, because the king is going to take my rook. And then I guess I become a queen, and then I put the king in check. I don't know. We'll find out. It's a puzzle. So they're going to make me make the right move. So I move here. And the king takes. Okay. So now I must go to the promotion of the queen. That was the right move. Now, I would say move the queen here, but keep putting the king in check. But maybe I want to go all the way over here to really put the king in check. And then where's the king going to move to? I don't know. These are hard puzzles. I probably do want to take because it takes something off the board. And all these puzzles always like me to put the king in check. And to sacrifice my queen in some way. And I have a brand new queen. So I have a feeling we're going to lose her because that's what they like to do. So I'm going to move it. See what happens. Meh. Oh, now see, that was a yellow. That was a yellow box. Not a green box, but a yellow box. A yellow box means, hey, old boy, that's doable. But that's not the way we want you to go. Which I don't understand why the puzzle can't finish two different ways, but they don't like that. So now I have to go somewhere else. Which makes me think I could just, like, go here. Which is the right answer. Okay. And then, I guess, go here. And I win. 4 moves, 75%. Time studied 3 minutes. And I won 120 stars. Thank you very much. We'll do another one. This is a 2-move puzzle, and I'm playing white. What do I see? What do I gotta do? No queen on the board. Lots of knights roaming around, causing trouble. So I think the first thing to do is, they always want you to put the king in check. So here's this pawn here. Move this pawn here. Puts the king in check. Nothing can take the pawn, and that pawn is protected by that pawn. That has to be the right move. We wonder. No, it was not the right move. I wish they would explain why this is the best move. I guess if I studied more, it would tell me. So now they're going to force me to make this move. And it's interesting because this is like I don't want to say a pre-move, but this is like a prophylactic move, as they say. Where I'm just moving the knight, but nothing's in check, nothing's taken, nothing is in danger. It's like I'm setting something up. So, okay, I move that. Am I playing the right color here? White to play. How can a knight move from there to there? I don't understand that. So I guess I have to move my king. If I'm understanding the puzzle right. I don't understand what that means. How could the knight move that way? A knight moves in an L. A knight moves in a pinwheel. I guess I move here. I don't know. No. I move away. This is a very confusing puzzle, and I don't like it. So it makes me move. Ugh, I don't get that at all. What was the point of it? I don't know. Puzzles are for solving. Puzzles are not for fun. Here's another one. Now I'm black. Black to play. See, this is why it's not Bobby Fischer chess. Because we're not winning any of these puzzles. Now, if I were offline, 100%. It's what I do. Online with you, nothing's happening. Black to play. This is a hard puzzle too. Oh, I just have to move something. Ah, I wasn't right. Gotta go all the way over for some reason. Oh, it's just terrible. What am I doing here? What is going on? What does the world come to? Okay. Well, I've had about enough of that. So now we're going to chess.com. Now, I used to be able to make this a lot bigger, but this is not letting me make this larger for you, which I find slightly dismaying. While my king side gently weeps. So it's Beatles mania all over again, right? While my guitar gently weeps, while my king side gently weeps. Black to move. So, oh, that's interesting. The kings are right next to each other. That is very bizarre looking. We have a king here and a king here, separated by the Black Knight. Very bizarre. And now what are you going to do? I don't know. I wish I could make it bigger so I could see it easier. This is a very strange puzzle. And no one knows what to do. You got to make a move, laddie. I always like to make small incremental moves, but then I always get in trouble for it because I'm not thinking big enough. So I don't think this is a pawn move. My knight, my rook, my bishop, all in a bad place. Lower left-hand corner. The action is in the first rank. I sort of want to move this rook this way and put the pressure on the queen to get her out of there. It's a move, as they say, not the right move. So this is where I go down and get a hint. This highlights. Okay, so it is a rook move. They're telling me it's a rook move. Now I can go down there and click again and it'll show me where to move it. Say move. I don't want to move it though. I mean, I don't want it to move it for me. I want to move it for myself. But where? You move it here, you put the king in check, but then that just takes that. That doesn't make any sense. Here, the king is in check, but the king will just take. That doesn't make any sense. You move here, and you're taken by the pawn. That doesn't make any sense. Here. That doesn't make any sense. There's no threat. You move here. That doesn't make any sense. I don't think. I'm going to move it right in front of the king. Okay, that was the right move. They like the king to be put in check, even if you lose a big piece. And I just lost a big piece. Now I can take my lovely queen here and put her here, and put the king in the check, which could be interesting. Could be interesting. Could also be a giant disaster, which is my street name, by the way. Giant disaster. Who are you and what are you doing here, young man? Well, I'm trying to win the game, but you're not Bobby Fischer. I know that. That's the title of this segment. So I'm gonna I'm gonna move the queen. No. I think it's a queen move, so I can go here. Maybe this would have been better. Go here and take the pawn because they'd like you to take things. And then that also puts the king in check. And nothing can take my queen. Okay, I'll try that. That was the right move. Woo. Small victories. You take them when you're in the middle of a hurricane. And the puzzle's not over. I've made 2 correct moves and about 10 incorrect moves. But I'm glad they don't remind me of that. So that's very, very interesting. Now, I believe the move is this. Queen moves here. King and jack. She is protected by the knight. I think nobody can touch her. I believe that is the correct move. As they say in baseball. Go for the pop fly. That was the right answer. You talk about melanoma for half an hour, you're not worn out. You play chess for 5 minutes, you can't think straight. You're so exhausted. But that's the fun of the game, right? All right, now it's time for a little bit of redemption. We're going back to Jezebel. We're going to win this one now. 3 moves, I'm white. White should win in any case with his powerful pass pawns, but it's even better to force mate in 3. Okay, so they're telling me don't move my pawns. Finally, a little bit of a hint. White to play. Okay, white to play, white to play, white to play. Well, gosh, I love the idea of moving the pawns, though. Because they'll put the king right in the check. I gotta move. These timers are so hard. I've got to move the pawn. Put the king in check. Okay, that was the right move. Trying to trick me by telling me not to move my pawns. Now, do I take with that pawn? Or is it a knight move? I don't know. Somebody should ask Bob Seger. He's working on those knight moves. I like this move. I'm going to do it right now. I can't tell you what it is because I'm running out of time. Because it puts the king in the check. I like that. Uh-huh. Up 1 and over 2, right? Up 1 over 2. So if I put the... Move the pawn up, puts the king in check. King can't move. He's blocked. I like it. Do it. Do it to it. I win the game. Whew! Redemption! Redemption. Where are my friends? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. I worked hard. I was defeated in the first 2 puzzles and I came back. It's been a long and difficult journey, and you've stuck with me. Thank you so much. Yes, I'll keep going. Thank you. Don't worry, we're not done. I'll keep going. Thank you for having faith in me. Do we tempt the will of the gods or not? Yes, we tempt the will of the gods. That's what we're doing here. Any hints? No hints. White to play. Carlson versus Shirov. White to play. White to play. I think it's 2 moves. White to play. I like this bishop moving here to put the king in check. Can't be taken because it's protected by the rook. I love that. And it's a little bit fancy, which these puzzles tend to like fanciness. Go for it. That is the right answer. Woo! Thank you. The right answer. Now don't cheer too long because, well, I have to make another move soon. Thank you. I understand. Please subscribe. Don't cheer. Okay. Uh-huh. Well. I was going to say move this pawn here to put the king-o in check-o. But then we have en passant, will we not? So we don't want that. We're going to do the same thing on this side, but then we'd have en passant, I believe, on this side. We don't want that either. I got to make a move. Okay, that was okay. It was a yellow box, not a fail. It means it's a possibility, which makes me think it's the other side. Which is fine. And if it goes en passant, then I'll just, I guess, take with the king. If it goes that far. I don't know. Do I go or do I stay? I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... Go for it. Ooh! En passant! I saw it coming. Uh-huh. I saw it coming. Yes, I did. Thank you very much. I saw it coming. Now what am I going to do? Oh, now... Okay. So they en passant one time. And now I do the other side, which I originally did, which gave me the yellow box. Here to here. And I go up here and put the king in the jack. Right? And they can't en passant me again because I already got en passant on the other side. Oh, I figured it out. Thank you very much. I know. I am a chess genius. It takes me a little while, but eventually I get there. I'll keep trying. We haven't won yet. Don't cheer too loud. I'm almost there. Now let's make the move. Win the game. GG. All the way home. Oh, baby. Hit me. Thank you. 3 new moves. My accuracy, 100%. Time studied? Or was it time wasted? 3 minutes and 15 seconds. I gained 90 stars of support. And that, my friend, is how you play not Bobby Fischer chess. And on that high note, we're going to take a small break, and then we're going to come back and talk about some really fun things. Internet, NFTs, artwork, making money, meow, all that. More to come. Thank you for being here with me on the Boles TV. And we are back from break. Thank you so much for being here on Boles.tv. David Boles Live. It's wonderful to have you with us. Lots of interesting conversation today. I was victorious in not Bobby Fischer chess, in case you missed it. You can always watch the video-on-demand replay of that victory after this live stream is over if you subscribe to Boles.tv. Just type that into your browser, Boles.tv, go to the web page. It's on Twitch. Click on the subscribe button, and you'll have access to all of our previous highlights, clips, repeats, and show stories. So when you have a live stream, you're always looking for interesting content to share and discuss. And sometimes it's interesting and sometimes it's not. But you're always trying to find that thing that'll make for an interesting start of conversation. And the other day I was sent something, a PR thing that an icon designer from Apple was having a big show somewhere to talk about her iconic icon designs. I thought, well, that would be interesting, kind of fun to look at. And then I lost it. I don't think I deleted it. I believe I saved it somewhere in my email, and I cannot find it. It's not in the trash, it's not in the spam, it's not in all mail. So I gave up. But luckily, I remembered her name. And I don't know if it is Susan Care or Susan Care, but I'll say Care just because, it's a more caring, careful pronunciation. If I'm wrong, please correct me in chat or find me on Twitter at David Boles and let me know. So Susan is a very interesting designer. Got her start at Apple. Interesting photographs of her sitting haphazardly in her Apple chair with her Macintosh computers around her, with her not Reebok shoes, her New Balance shoes up on the table. So this is her personal website. And this is what I loved about what I was originally going to talk to you about, that I'm going to talk to you about now. The designs that she's famous for. These are the things that as an icon designer, she designed for Apple. And that she now sells on her personal website. And there's a recent photograph of her having a lot of fun, still painting the apple of her eye in a skull. Fair enough. So here you go with the Macintosh, right? Why is that still moving? Click on it, and you can buy a happy Macintosh on bright yellow for $129. 8x5 edition, 200, getting larger and larger. Larger you go, the fewer there are. And you can buy that and hang it on your wall. And it might even be signed. I'm not sure if it's signed. Is it signed? Custom artwork print? Ship within 2 to 3 weeks. Touch a piece of the past, buy a bit of history, and hang it on your wall. Okay, that's what we do. Here's some other ones. Bomb on red, Macintosh watch on blue, Moof the dog cow on green, Big Love on gray. And these are affordable, you know, $129 for a piece of interesting, lovely printed art? Not a bad deal. Now, some people say, hey, just download it from the internet and print it out and put it on your wall. Okay, you can do that, but it's not going to be this. A Cliché Fine Art Print, limited edition, hand-signed, numbered, and dated by the artist, Susan Care. Paper dimensions and edition quantities are noted in the purchase options. Artwork is printed and edition quantities are noted in purchase options. Artwork is printed using archival ink on acid-free photo rag paper. Please review ordering details for more information about our prints and fulfillment. Okay, so there you go. You can buy a little bit of Apple memory and have a little bit of fun with Susan. And here's a recent picture of her. And so I thought, well, that wasn't the only thing that I saw in that little piece of PR thing that was sent to me. She was having, I think, some kind of showing in France. So I thought, okay, showing in France, museum, okay, well, why don't I do a search on that? I couldn't find the France thing, but I did find this. A MoMA showing, a Museum of Modern Art. Susan, born 1954. And here are her works that are online or that were in person during her presentation at MoMA. And you click on it, Grid. Mac OS Icon Sketchbook, 1982. So you can get a little taste and a little vision into who she was and what she's like as an artist, and you can appreciate her online. All right, love that, right? Sure, who doesn't love that? An icon sketch, pencil and ink on gridded paper. What year? We don't know. Might be this year. Who can say? Only Susan knows. So you can go visit her online on MoMA and see that the work she's done as a graphic artist is just as important as other works of art that are in a museum. Which leads me to our next topic of conversation, which is something that I sort of understand, but I don't really understand it. But that's never stopped me before from beginning a conversation. NFT. Now, Susan is not selling right now that we can see NFT. She is selling stuff on her website that you can have and hang on your wall. And NFT is something very different. This is an NFT, a non-fungible token, which we'll talk about in a moment. This is an NFT that sold, believe it or not, for $69 million. Now that's wild to me. $69 million for that. I don't understand the value. NFT stands for non-fungible token. It's generally built using the same kind of programming as cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Ethereum, but that's where the similarity ends. Physical money. This is the fungible part that people don't understand. And when people get confused by it, I'm confused by it too. But we're working through it together. Physical money, dollars and cents, pennies, quarters, $20 bills, and cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are fungible. That means they can be traded or exchanged for one another. They're also equal in value. $1 is always worth $1. One Bitcoin is always equal to another Bitcoin. Crypto's fungibility makes it a trusted means of conducting transactions on the blockchain. Okay, that's a little bit complicated, but we understand it. $1 for $1. An apple for an apple. However, NFTs are different. Each NFT has a digital signature that makes it impossible for NFTs to be exchanged for or equal to one another. Hence non-fungible. Okay, that sentence is very complex and confusing, and I'm sure we could talk about that sentence for an hour. But what it means if you have one NFT of a robot that I'm selling for $1, and you have that other thing, that Beeple thing that sold for $69 million, even though they're both NFTs, one is not the same value as the other. One is worth $69 million, the other is worth $1. One NBA Top Shot clip, NFT clip, for example, is not equal to Everyday's simply because they're both NFTs. One NFT Top Shot clip isn't even necessarily equal to another NBA Top Shot clip for that matter. What is a Top Shot clip? We don't know. Something with basketball. So someone shooting a basketball. I have no idea. An NFT is a digital asset that represents real-world objects. Okay, now we're getting somewhere, like art, music, in-game items, and videos. NFTs are bought and sold online frequently with cryptocurrency, which is fungible, and they are generally encoded with the same underlying software as many cryptos. Although they've been around since 2014, NFTs are gaining notoriety. Infamy or notoriety? We'll go with infamy. Oh, they say about notoriety. Now, because they are becoming an increasingly popular way to buy and sell digital artwork. A staggering $174 million has been spent on NFTs since November of 2017. And in my world, 98% of the people, if you say, hey, NFT, they have no idea what you're talking about. You mean the NFL? No, I mean non-fungible tokens. What? NFTs are also generally one of a kind, or at least one of a very limited run of a kind, and have unique identifying codes. Essentially, NFTs create digital scarcity, which is very interesting. That stands in stark contrast to most digital creations, which are almost always infinite in supply, because you can copy and copy and copy and copy and copy. Hypothetically, cutting off the supply should raise the value of a given asset, assuming it's in demand. All right, are you with me so far? It's confusing, I know. NFTs exist on a blockchain, which is a distributed public ledger that records transactions. You're probably most familiar with blockchain as the underlying process that makes cryptocurrencies possible. Specifically, NFTs are typically held on the Ethereum blockchain, although other blockchains support them as well. An NFT is created or minted from digital objects that represent both tangible and intangible items, including art. GIFs, videos and sports highlights, collectibles, virtual avatars, and video game skins, designer sneakers, music. Yeah, okay, so far we're with it. Well, now you're an artist, you have digital art, you want to sell it as an NFT. What do? Well, what about if you're interested in learning NFT tokens and you want to create your own? Creating a piece of NFT artwork is fairly straightforward, yeah, right, and does not require in-depth knowledge of the crypto industry, yeah, right. Before beginning, a creator of an NFT will have to figure out which blockchain on which they would want to issue their NFTs. Ethereum is most popular. Here are the others. Each blockchain comes with its own unique NFT token standard, marketplaces, and wallet services. If someone were to create NFT tokens on the Binance Smart Chain, for example, traders can only use those NFTs on platforms that support that chain asset. So you can't sell them on an NFT marketplace like OpenSea, which is based on Ethereum. So you got to pick the right cryptocurrency for where you want to sell your stuff. An NFT creator will also need about $50 to $100 worth of Ether tokens. Those using the Coinbase wallet can buy Ether from Coinbase with US dollars or another fiat currency. Other users will have to purchase Ether from a crypto exchange and send it to the wallet they set up in the previous step. Okay. Now we're a little lost. We're trying to get our artwork online and we don't know how. After creating a wallet and funding it with Ether, it's time to choose a platform. A variety of NFT-focused platforms will allow users to connect their wallets and upload images or files they'd like to turn into NFTs. These three marketplaces, like OpenSea, Rarible, and Mintable, have a Create button located in the upper right corner. Let's look at how things work on OpenSea. You click Create. Next, you hover over the button. You select My Collections. You assign an image for the collection. Then you start creating NFTs. Add new item. Sign a message with your wallet. You'll then arrive at a new window where you can upload the item and turn it into an NFT, where it will either be audio, an image, or a GIF file. Confused yet? It's very confusing. Next, we'll get away from that for a minute and wonder at the mainstreaming of NFTs. AMC Entertainment partnered with Sony Pictures to offer 86,000 NFTs that come in 100 designs to its clients, and as a reward for those who pre-ordered tickets for the premiere of Spider-Man No Way Home on December 16th. The offer was only open to members of AMC's customer loyalty programs, AMC Investor Connect, AMC Stubs Premier, and its A-list members. All 86,000 NFTs inspired by the movie starring Tom Holland, at one per qualifying member, were fully committed by late Monday. That's from this week. Winners will get an email by December 22nd on how they can retrieve their NFT, which they must redeem by March 1st of next year. You were right when so many of you suggested movie-themed NFTs. So what does that mean? Well, the new Spider-Man movie has 86,000 pieces of art connected to that movie. And if you bought a ticket, you would get one of those 86,000 NFTs that come in 100 different designs. So I guess you'd pick one design out of 100, or maybe it's assigned to you, I don't know. And then it becomes yours, even though there are potentially 86,000 others of them out there. But that's okay, because it's a limited run. So after those 86,000 are done, it's done. And if you want one, then you have to buy one. So it's like a trading card. Only a certain amount are made. You go out, you buy them, get your luck to collect one, and you collect one and it's yours. Unlike that Beeple thing that sold for $69 million, there's only one and one of them only. With the Spider-Man NFTs, you run a risk that other people are going to have your same NFT, but it'll be signed uniquely to you. So this is the new thing, I guess, that you'll have something like this, maybe, that becomes your token of appreciation, your non-fungible token of appreciation for buying a ticket to Spider-Man the movie, No Way Home. And I don't know what you do with this. I don't know if you hang this on your wall, or if you print it out and put it on your wall, or if you just save it in some sort of online collection. If you have a Second Life online, you put this in the hallway of your new home. I really have no idea how this works, or why it works, or why people are interested in it. I don't understand it, but I am trying to figure it out, which is why we're having this conversation. And if you happen to be an NFT expert, I would love to hear from you. Here on Boles.tv in chat, or find me on Twitter at David Boles. I'm also on Facebook /Boles. Instagram, Boles Books. And you hear a lot about artists, friends, who say, well, I draw things, I'm going to make an NFT and put it online and make a lot of money. And maybe that'll happen, and maybe that won't happen. But it doesn't seem like it's a really simple process yet. But I expect within the next couple of years it will be very easy. You have something you want to sell, and you make one copy of it, I guess, and upload it and put it on the blockchain, and people can verify there's only one of them, and they'll pay you, I don't know, $1 for it. And you can make something else and sell that for $1 too. Or maybe you'll go the Spider-Man route and say 86,000 of these are available. You can have one of them for $1. And maybe that will be enough inherent value that someone would say, hey, I'd like that. Here's my $1 for your NFT, your non-fungible token. But NFTs are big news. You see sports stars getting into it, entertainment icons getting into it. And you wonder about the long-term value of an NFT. How does it survive in a non-digital world? And I agree, we are in a digital world now, but will that continue into the next 10, 20, 30 years? How do you preserve today's NFTs 50 years from now? I don't know the answer, but it's a fascinating question. And if you have any insights, I'd love to hear from you. Please find me. For now, I will see you bright and early, 9 a.m. Eastern, right here on Boles TV, Boles.tv, tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.